Welcome, guys. I am back with Billy Roberts. He's a fellow YouTuber and concept artist, and he's also an art director working on a indie roguelike game. Maybe we can get into that later if there's time. Um, Otherwise, we're here to do a duel. So the prompt we did was space it was kind of a long one. Evil space dark wizard. Um, and it was fairly open. I think there might have been a sci-fi nomer in there at some point. Correct me if I'm wrong. We'll see. We'll see what happens
Yeah,
when we look at the art.
yeah, let's see it.
So I actually was thinking about this for quite a while before I started digitally working on it. I was sketching a lot. I'd just gotten back from Lightbox and gotten really into just pencil sketching and like ballpoint pens. So I started with kind of the sketches on the left. Um, Before I even started in Photoshop, which is a little different for me, but I actually really liked it and helped me work out a lot of stuff. I find that working that way, especially early on, kind of like constrains me in a good way because I don't know if you experienced this, but I have a hard time keeping cynics would call it like proper tempo while I'm drawing digitally. For some reason, it's like this switch of like I need to go very fast when I'm doing digital, but when I do like pencil, it kind of makes me go slow and I'm a little more, there's more intention behind my strokes. I don't know if you felt like that when you're working, but that's been pretty noticeable for me, and I'm trying to like get better at doing that while I'm working digitally. Potentially by using less eraser or pencils and brushes that are less forgiving, even because then it makes you kind of like be very intentional with every shape. Um, we kind of skipped over some stuff, but I did some silhouettes. And then, yeah, blew up the one that I liked and just jumped into trying to figure the design out a little more. And feel free to like jump in with any questions or comments on process differences or anything like that. It's pretty loose.
Yeah, no, it's cool how you've how you sort of started with the exploratory stuff at the beginning. Um, did you do that traditionally? It's actually quite hard to tell what that
Yeah,
is. Is that
yep. That was all either pencil
oh nice?
or sometimes ballpoint. Sometimes I'll sketch in like really light pencil and then erase it so you can barely see it, and then do like a
Yeah.
ballpoint sketch over that. Um, yeah, I like the just the shitty ballpoint like Bic pens with the paper. There's something about it that just I used to do that a lot when I was younger, so it just kind of feels right.
Yeah, no, it's great. I also do a lot of sort of sketchbook stuff just to sort of get a lot of ideas out, right? It just
Yeah,
feels a lot better. So that's really cool to see, actually.
yeah, it's something I hadn't done it very much at all. Like I've had sketchbooks for a long time that were like it take me years and years to even fill like a couple pages. Um, but more recently I've been really enjoying it, and like just like sitting at the couch and doing it and stuff like that. It just feels a lot more relaxing and fun to me than digital. I don't know if it's because it's feels more separate from work, but uh, yeah, it's much more relaxing, and I just kind of ideas seem to flow a lot more easily, which is kind of strange.
I'm the same. I am probably 10 times faster in a sketchbook than I am on Photoshop. So, no, I get it.
And I think
It's
it's because
good.
I'm slower. I draw more slowly, but I'm drawing better, so there's not as much like reworking and stuff. Speaking of
Yeah.
reworking, it just jumped a little bit. I redrew the cape. I don't know how many times. Drapery is always something that drives me nuts. I was pretty happy with where it ended up, because I stopped thinking about it as drapery and more just tried to think of the shape first, and then went in with like where are the folds. So that was kind of a little victory for me because I usually, like I said, I usually hate doing the drapery, even though I always want to put these like big flowing capes and stuff on characters. It's just always hard to get it to look both realistic and energetic at the same time. There's kind of one shape on the left that I really don't like, and I'll fix that at some point. But
Yeah, it's like a compositional nightmare, basically. It
yeah,
takes time, right? And sometimes you do have to redo it multiple times to to get it to look good. I'd love to know what your thoughts are around I'm sort of seeing the head shape come together and all the mechanical parts around the head. What was actually your design theory with that?
That's a good question. I had this like, so there's a personal IP that I'm kind of loosely working on. It's more of like just an idea to give me a direction for portfolio personal work. But it was kind of this like space. I don't know if you've seen the show Kung Fu. It's like a really old 70s show. But the idea was kind of like doing that in space. So it'd be kind of like American Old West. And it always makes me think of this like very industrial, sort of like Star Wars-esque, but like very industrial, whimsical. Like there's a lot of old machinery that's like sci-fi, but it's not super high tech either. And this guy just felt like if it was a wizard, I kept picturing him being in a foundry for some reason, like a steel foundry or something.
Okay.
And I kind of tried to at one point make his abilities a little bit like manipulating liquid metal or something, which I doesn't super read like that at the end. I kind of split between like fire and that, but that all led to like thinking of him as having these like Magneto-esque powers where he's maybe like moving metal or something. And it's pretty ambiguous. I mean, wizard, I was trying to do it's a sci-fi wizard. Does he use magic? Does he use like science-backed stuff for his powers? I don't know. And I just like some of the references I'm looking at were just like, oh, I really like. You can see him like popping up and down on the screen. Just this industrial look. And then I recently bought. I don't know if you're familiar with Ron Cobb, but he's a like incredible, legendary concept artist who is at least partially credited for like doing a lot of the cool industrial stuff in cinema. So like that was definitely like fresh in my mind. I was thinking a lot about like how do I make things look like they would function even if they have no. It's like you have like the greeblies and stuff like that, but there's no necessarily like function of movement or anything. But there's tubes and nuts and bolts and things that look like they're doing something. And I really wanted to like kind of combine that with like just a really old, creepy guy that was being either kept alive by that stuff or just using it to be his like wizard source or whatever.
Yeah, I'm noticing another thing too that I really like. Well, that was a good explanation of where you're getting the design sense from because it is quite unique. But I really like he's got like a motherboard from like a computer on his belt buckle, sort of thing, and it's like connecting to his head. I don't know why I like that so much, but it just quite a good like little connection design with that.
Yeah, I was happy with that. And it's really hard to, I'm like, honestly, it's so hard to not be inspired by Star Wars when I'm doing like sci-fi stuff because the shapes are just so good too. Like regardless of if you like Star Wars or not, like if you look at the designs and like the thousands of people that have worked on it, and all the different IPs for it, like there's just so many cool like shapes and ideas, and it's like really hard to get it out of your head when you've been exposed to it for your whole life. And like, I do just love that aesthetic of the kind of like that 80s tech / like the really early industrial age kind of not steampunk, but like that, like the coal kind of piping and stuff like that. And like almost like the stuff that you'd kind of see on like really old steam engine kind of trains and things.
Yeah, no, I love it. That's awesome.
I redrew the hand for like the 5th time now, I think. Finally just ended up doing a reference shot of my own hand and then comparing it back and forth a few times. I really am happy with the bottom left section of the cape now. I struggle to get like things to look like painterly and not super overly polished. This felt like it was pretty good. I think it focused a little more on the shapes and just putting in like really big brush strokes that didn't get too overworked. That's kind of a rare win for me. I think that was a little bit of an unlock. Yep, and finally
Nice.
throwing in some of the metal-y fire powers. I tried a bunch of other
Yeah.
stuff. You probably see it like pop in the background for a second or here and there, but um,
Mm.
I was very indecisive with some of that. Yeah, right there was like a big magma thing behind him, and I kind of still like that, but I don't want to like kill the silhouette too much. Yeah, I see me playing around with like 10 different versions.
I went through a very similar thing actually. So I was definitely playing with VFX at one point. No, I really like this, man. Really cool. And yeah, you're right. The cape has definitely got a good quality about it.
Thanks. Yeah. I was like I said, it was a new skill to me for like to get to that point, because it's something I'm always kind of targeting, but it's been pretty elusive. So
Yeah, no, it looks great. Yeah, it looks really good. Definitely simplifying that cape shape really just brings the focus back to the character, you know.
yeah,
It's like the hero isn't the cape anymore, it's him, you know.
Yeah.
And I really like that shift that you did. That was a good decision.
and I don't know if this is just kind of an aside. Do you ever do like magical effects and struggle with if they're giving off light and you don't? It's like it's that balance of, I kept wanting to make them really bright, but then they like stole the show. So it's like really hard to like keep the focus on the face and still have it look correct.
Yep.
It's always a fine tuning thing. So I don't know if I'm the only one that struggles with that, but I feel like I always have to like dim the lights down on that kind of stuff more than I would originally think, or more than would be like realistic.
Yeah, I'm a huge like value range nerd.
Yeah.
So I kind of always am trying to get things to be like controlled, like in like a rule way sort of thing. So yeah, I have had issues with it, and I think maybe that's why I went down the road of becoming a nerd of value grouping.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a problem. I think VFX is something that should be quite crunchy in a game, but when you're trying to make like a cool image, it kind of contradicts the use case for like the production team, right? I think VFX should be isolated most of the time if you're doing like illustrations.
Yeah, for sure.
Or heavily balanced, like spend a good amount of time. But hey, look, man, your piece is awesome. I really like it. So
awesome.
I think you did a good job of balancing it. It's not too overpowering, and that's probably where it needs to be. So yeah, good job, man. Really interesting to see how you took that brief. I'm curious to see what you're gonna think.
Yeah, and this one was like, of all the briefs I've done so far, it felt pretty defined, but like also Wizard is so open to interpretation, it could be a lot of stuff. So I'm really curious to see what you come up with here too. Hey guys, before we check out Billy's art, I just wanted to remind you to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the channel. I don't want to hold you up too long though, so let's get back into it. Thanks.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just intro my process. When I'm concepting stuff, I don't really like to draw anything that is anything. I draw as if my eyes are blurred. And that helps me to just sort of have a very quick approach to things and not get attached to anything, can just move fast. Really, that's what my goals are at the start here. I did go down the like 40K, you know, grim dark, as you can see, right? Lots of tech pieces and, you know, mechanical arms attached to them and all sorts of stuff. So I was just really wanting to explore a bit of a broad range of shapes as quickly as I possibly could. And this is a bit of a cutting and painting process that I do when I'm just trying to bash out as many ideas as I can.
I mean, not to interrupt
so
you,
that's
but
what I'm
like
doing.
Already, like it pays off, because I mean, thumbnailing is huge. I already like all of these. There's enough there you can see like they're already good designs. It's not like you need all that detail to sell them yet.
Right. Yeah. I guess as like primarily I'm a concept artist and I'm less of an illustrator. I just draw a lot, and my job really is to come up with as many ideas as possible.
Yeah.
Because the more I come up with, just turns out I get better and better ideas as I go. Sometimes I'll do 15 designs and all 15 are really bad, and then the 16th is sort of the one that gets the thumbs up by the team.
Yep.
So I'm kind of just used to it at this point. just, yeah. So I think we just seen like a bit of a presentation of them all. I ended up going with number 1, believe it or not.
Nice.
Classic.
I love the shapes are really unique on the shoulders. Definitely pretty iconic looking.
Yeah, when it comes to like, I guess a lot of my work is stylized games, and I'm a generalist, so I do characters, enemies, environments, pretty much the whole lot. I even do animation, rigging, and modeling.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I'm very much so a generalist. So I always enjoy like mechanical things that make sense. I love to be able to visualize the sort of part moving with the body, and I guess that's maybe where that shape even came from, right?
Yeah.
Was just my theory around like, what wouldn't it be cool if when he raises his arm, the top piece clips into the bottom piece, sort of flattens off a bit. Just little things like that got me excited about the design, and probably why I picked this one, to be honest.
I'm gonna have you send me the full sheet too, because I just want to look at the full sheet, because there's some other ones in there that like really resonated with me. Like this one is also super cool, but it's funny how like there was one that I was drawn to like immediately that you didn't pick.
Yeah, it was a bit of a tough decision. I actually wanted to probably do 4 of them, but I didn't want to break the rules too much.
Yep.
But I am the type of person I would have done 4, to be honest, if I had the choice, because it was super fun. The idea that I had for this guy, and I'd like to talk about that, or maybe no. I'll tell you. So the idea was he wears this hat that's basically like a neural connection to his brain. Okay. My whole problem with the brief that we got was it doesn't make sense. So being like having some type of function here, I was like, well, okay, he should have this hat that connects to his brain, and the tech is sort of enhancing his brain beyond reality.
Okay.
And we'll start to get into like how that works. But I thought that was a really good starting point, because the hat to me is a bit of a hero component to the design. So I really wanted to make that functional. I thought that would be pretty fun. So that's sort of how he is actually a part of the sci-fi world. But the stuff that he's able to do is pretty much like full fantasy, right? That's sort of where I got that from. And very similar to you, right? With the process, just drawing, redrawing, making sure I'm happy with shapes. I'm not afraid to fix a mistake or try something else at this point. This is very taking what I see on the left and just really making that bigger and better on the right. That's sort of something that I do quite often in that polish phase.
Yeah. I really like you just added the big kind of like scarf type elements, for lack of a better word. But it really did made the whole character much more of a triangle, and it really strengthened the silhouette.
Yeah, I knew I always wanted to reinforce the shoulder and head designs, because those are really the main components. Everything else is just like drapery and cloth, right? It's not very interesting. So having that triangular sort of shape heading towards the head is quite important to pull off the whole design. I'd like to hear what you think about things so far, actually, because I'm not sure if this is a interesting process where you're seeing it like right now interesting, or you've seen it before, maybe not.
No, I mean, it's weird because everyone does the same thing, but nobody does the same thing. like everyone kind of has the same rough process to some extent. I mean, some people jump right into painting, some people do like super tight line art. This is like fairly close to my process, but you're also doing some things that I don't do, and it's like a lot cleaner in some ways. I notice you're working light to dark right now. I used to do that a lot more, and now I do dark to light because it just makes more sense to my brain. But I think mark of a good concept artist, like you're clearly going for shapes first. That's like the first thing I notice. I love the chunky mustache, by the way, like just the really angular mustache.
Yeah, so it's pretty standard, but the deviation is getting a graphic read as soon as possible. So you can always present that,
which I think is super
to,
smart for concept art. Yeah.
It's mainly so if someone walks in the room and they see the sketch, they can still go, "That's a good sketch," and then 2 hours later they walk in and go, "Those are good shapes."
Yeah,
right?
and
so you never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I like about yours, as opposed to my process, is like there was almost no stage of this where it was ugly. It's kind of like presentable at every stage, which is good when you're working professionally, obviously, because if the art director comes in or you got to have stuff due earlier than you thought, you're like, well, I still have this, kind of whenever you need to. Yeah, it's cool. I want to I'll probably rewatch this a few times and just like try to take more notes because it's going fast when we're talking about it. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far.
Looks like I'm just a big shape nerd, man.
Yeah,
I can't help it.
People are probably sick of me saying it on this channel, but it's just always shapes. Like,
yeah, it is.
It's just always shapes.
Yeah. Yeah, so shapes are a big deal for me because I do work on everything I work on is graphic and stylized. Mm-hmm. That's just my forte. That's my go-to, art direction. That's what I'm good at. I know how to make products that look like this through the whole process. So I'm always like trying to figure out how can I give that 3D team or even myself enough information for it to really come into the game the same way that it actually looks in 2D. Because I've had, all art directors have had issues with this where you got to sort of struggle with getting the transfer to happen. Mm-hmm. So I've gotten used to really exaggerating things where they need to be in the sight that the 3D team will probably de-exaggerate it by the time it goes into the engine. So my shapes may be a little too far in some cases, but it's sort of a preventative sort of thing that I've adapted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's better to go too far and have to reel it back, though. It's a lot better than not going far enough, for sure. Yeah,
and I'm a big fan of you're seeing it in my process. I'm a big fan of having that design have pretty much an extreme clarity.
Yeah, I was going to make that comment. Is like it's super clear what's going on. Like a 3D modeler would have no problem at all. Like even me, who does very little experience 3D modeling, I can tell like it's super clear what the shapes are, how they're interacting with each other. I think 3D modelers probably love you. So
yeah. So it's just sort of clarity. Focus on clarity over anything else. If I start to fail in clarity, I sort of retreat the process a little bit and go, okay, why isn't it like that? So yeah, I think I've got at least, if not a good design, some good clarity to work from.
Yeah. I've noticed too with like stylized stuff and the graphic read, it's like you kind of need that no matter what.
Yes.
It's like the difference between like gritty realism and like stylization is more the rendering than like the shapes. Like you could have a really graphic read on like something like The Witcher or something, kind of a character, but there's just a lot more like grit and like it's kind of how you like render the materials and that sort of a thing. It's just a more realistic render and maybe some like pushed proportions, but it's like really not that different. Because I feel like you could take this painting and paint it a different way with just a lot more like noise and texture and stuff, and make it look realistic and like not stylized with the exact same like shapes and everything.
Yeah, and funnily enough, I was going to do that. I was actually going to give you like just a painting, basically. But I decided to go down this route because I wanted to show kind of what I do, right? Like in terms of my day-to-day.
I'm glad you did too, because it's awesome and it's just different than what I do usually. So it's something just new to show.
Awesome. Well, let me know when it cuts for you to when we get into the next phase, because I decided to try to explain the mechanic design in just a quick little splash painting. It's more of a thumbnail, to be honest. It's not special, or it probably wouldn't ever be shared with anyone. but just for like the YouTube content
for sure.
and to help describe what it is that he's actually capable of, I really wanted to draw something for us to see.
Awesome. Yeah. I like the orbs that you added too. That like really changes your interpretation of the character. Just those little objects tell a lot about him. Nice. Yeah, it is super clean. I really like it. Love your colors too. So yeah, it looks like you just skipped over to the next phase here.
Yeah, so this is like a 45-minute thing, just so everyone knows it's nothing special. It's just I wanted to show, while those balls that are connected to his head, those are basically the extra brain cells that he's able to sort of shift dimensions into like a completely different way. So actually what this guy is, he's basically able to summon souls, which I thought was quite interesting.
Oh yeah.
Just taking that full fantasy thing and just saying, you know what? Ghosts exist in this world and he's able to pull from them with this technology. So I sort of have a quick little comp of him reaching out and summoning these souls out of the ground. Which I think is quite fun, right?
Yeah, no, you got it really looking nice for 45 minutes of work too. That's super quick.
Yeah, it's all right. It's sort of more of a loose little explainer of what's going on. A lot of trickery with big brushes, right? That's half of it. But yeah, I just really wanted to have like this energy about him and what he's capable of, and it sort of puts him into a more like sinister vibe as well, which I think is
for sure. Cool. Oh, man, I love it though, and you can call it like trickery, but the big brush strokes are really just cool to look at. So it might not be as clear like for modeling or anything, but it looks awesome. So
I appreciate it, man. It was good fun. I really enjoyed like trying to figure out that brief. It was challenging, you know. It is quite an interesting one.
Awesome. Yeah, these were super different. I really like where you went with it.
I cheated. Okay. I cheated. Let's say that. I did 2 images. I should have done 1, but
no, it's just bonus.
Yeah,
I've cheated on this channel before. There's no clean rules.
All right.
Yeah, so we're back, and between our little break, you sent me over the kind of the more sketch phases. I guess like first off, general question I usually ask people is like, what was how do you think it went for you? Like, what was there anything you got stuck on, or anything you would have done differently, or did you feel like you just crushed it? Which is an adequate response because I think you did. So.
To be honest, I don't think I'll do anything differently. Just because it's the way that I work, but
yeah.
I would have maybe liked to explore more options, like fully, you know. I think you were saying before, like there's a couple there that would look cool. So I think if we were to do it differently, we should pick 3 designs, not 1.
Yeah. I've toyed with like in certain videos, maybe not taking it to a full polish and just doing, trying to keep these videos from being like ridiculously long. But yeah, like doing more of a medium polish or even just a line art with flats or something.
Yeah.
But it'd be cool to do like multiple designs for sure. And I'm looking at your sheet right now, and I'll put it up on the screen during the video. The top right one is the one that really resonated with me. I think it's got that like big geometric shape, and then everything else, which is pretty like, it's probably the Star Wars aspect of it again. Like that one reads like a little more in that realm to me. And I really like the bottom right one as well. Actually, there's like a lot of them I like the more I look at them. But yeah, the bottom right one, super triangle shape. Which ones did you gravitate towards that you thought about doing more with?
Pretty much the same that you had mentioned. It's more about, yeah, just those good, strong, bold shapes. As soon as the shapes get too fiddly and finicky, I sort of retract from even picking it. You know, it could work in certain contexts, but yeah, I'm about the same as you. The second pick was the guy with like the dome sort of tech piece on his head,
Hmm.
and then the triangular robe, almost alien looking
Yeah,
faceplate thing. That one was quite interesting. So yeah, very
which is
similar to
actually
you.
strangely similar to some of my like early sketches, and even like the final. It's got some of the same like shape language to it, and I thought about doing that same pose, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, now that you mention it, it's like literally the same design shape in
Yeah.
the face and in the head. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, man, these are super cool. I always I feel like I never thumbnail enough. And I think that's a process I just want to keep developing. But it is tough. For work I go back and forth between concept art and illustration, and it's hard to like break your headspace out for like I'm doing this now and not this.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think, it's one of those things you just do millions of them and
Yeah,
literally, right? It's that bad.
yeah,
And then you sort of just get a process down that you like and it becomes fun. And then as soon as it becomes fun, you're not going to be able to
yeah,
stop.
for sure. I don't know if you're
Yeah.
familiar with Steven Zapata, but yeah, he like hammers that in, and I weirdly like didn't. I knew who he was, but I didn't like watch his YouTube stuff very much until more recently. I'll put a link to his stuff as well as your channel in the description below, which I'll put that in the intro as well. But yeah, he really hammers on that, and I think it's so true. I mean, just like being self-aware while I'm drawing, if I'm not having fun, it sucks, and it can either be a cause or an effect. Like if feel like I'm doing poorly, then I start to get down on myself and I'm not having fun, or I'm doing a process or like in my own head about it and I'm not having fun, and then it just starts to look bad. So it's like something you really got to be aware of, and it's kind of tricky to keep it fresh. And I think it is like hard. I struggle. I have like ADHD, so I struggle with like trying to be like keeping things novel. Like I can almost try to do too many different processes and try to like I'm always trying to like learn or add something new, but then the process is never like a strict same workflow pipeline, so it's kind of hard to balance that. But
I'm also like severely ADHD. I'll tell you one trick that helped me a lot, and maybe this could help your viewers
yeah,
as well.
absolutely.
Pick 4 brushes in Photoshop and don't add any more.
Yeah,
That's how simple it is, literally. Because that's what I did. I sort of felt overwhelmed with choice, right? I think that's something that's quite common with ADHD. I ended up using a square brush, a round brush, and a soft round for years,
yeah,
to be honest. And it just sort of made me figure out the process and not the tools, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
But that helped
for
me
sure.
a lot. So maybe that can resonate with many other people.
Yeah, I think, and even ADHD aside, I think that's what I definitely would recommend for beginners or people just still in the like deep in the learning process. Because it's super overwhelming to have all the brushes, and I'm only just starting to feel like I want more brushes, or where I'm at the point where it's like, okay, I use these main ones to do almost everything, but once in a while I'm like, well, I really want this specific texture here, or it's like I know the use for it. It's not like, and I know what brush to look for. I'm not kind of just like fumbling around, grabbing random brushes and like doing things. I'm using like kind of like you said, those 4 pretty basic brushes, and then going in and doing specific stuff if it's like, well, I want like a more painted weird texture here or something. But it's something I could probably recalibrate on and try to get back into, especially in this like silhouette stage where you just have like the general read of the shapes. You don't really need anything other than like a square brush and a lasso tool or something.
Yeah, to be honest, I actually I'm trying to mimic my sketchbook. So I want it to be a Copic marker, and I want it to be a line, like a pen, basically, like a ballpoint. And that's how I want to do it in Photoshop, I guess. So yeah, I just limit it, because as soon as you start introducing texture, it stops looking like a sketch pretty quickly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's
even
something
even
appealing about
gradients.
like the weird sketchiness. It's just I don't know what it is, right? I think all
Yeah.
artists can say that they get attracted to the sketch if it's treated correctly. And I think that's something that I've started to really adapt into my work in the last like 4 years. Is just keep it loose, keep it fun.
Mhm.
When I'm having fun, other people are gonna look at it and go, "Wow, that looks fun," right? Um, yeah, and just limiting those tools, I think, definitely helped me just find the fun. It's weird, man. It's art, right? It's hard to describe, and it's different for everyone, but that's just what helped me. So,
Yeah, no, I had a pretty similar experience, I think. And constraints, just contrary to what you'd think, just really help. Uh, they like sort of free you in a way because they make you focus on just the one thing. You're not sidetracked by all these things that are drawing you away from the one thing you should be focusing on, which is just being able to draw the shapes or come up with the shapes or the figure. And it's kind of the same thing as you learn. If you're early on, you're thinking about, oh, I got to do the right anatomy, I got to do the right like perspective and all that stuff. And once that's ingrained, you're freed up to kind of just draw the cool stuff that you will like can imagine in your brain. Kind of rambling a little bit here, but yeah, even like
that all made sense to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
even gradients. I was just talking to somebody else about how like if you're in this early stage, like even gradients can start to get away from like another restriction can be like you're using like 3 values or whatever, and there's no pressure sensitivity to your pen or your brush. It's all just like it's down and it's there. But you've used the gradients in these like sketches really well to just indicate a little bit of like a curve or a form, and they're not like very drastic. We're getting kind of back into what you were talking about, like the value nerd stuff, where all the values are still grouped pretty solidly, and then there's just a little bit of like variation that kind of hints at a material or something like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like I guess brush economy, indication. Yeah. Like it's more of an indication of what it is, and using a simple brush and then trying to like indicate with that brush, you end up just with like a really nice, appealing, simple yet readable result. And I guess the only like fundamental gap, if you were to tell someone like 2 years in or 1 year into their journey, is the value grouping is going to take a little bit longer to figure out. Yeah. But no, I was really happy with what I got down, and yeah, I think it all reads pretty well, and pretty much any one of those would be fun to explore further. So it served the purpose of like doing the thumbnails, but I've probably done like 20,000, 30,000 thumbnails sort of thing. So for me, it's sort of like, I don't know. It's just fun, man. I just love it. I can't help it at this point.
Yep. The more I do it, the more I enjoy it too. I actually took a brainstorm, like a little mini class with Cynics. That was all thumbnailing. It's still kind of ongoing. I actually got to catch up on the recordings, but it was super informative. And you kind of touched on that, what you think you mentioned earlier, of like, you almost want to like under indicate and let people kind of fill in the blanks with the messiness, because people interpret it differently. And I think that's why people get excited about sketchy stuff, is they're kind of projecting themselves onto it. Their visual library. This was super interesting to me, actually. It was like a point he brought up was by keeping it loose, and like you said, I think very early on when we were watching a recording, is by putting these shapes down, but you don't really know what they are. They're just kind of it's like this blurry eye thing where you're putting these shapes down. It kind of triggers deep into your working memory of like all the shapes you've ever seen in your life in your subconscious. So it's not like, it's totally different than if I'm trying to think of something or draw something and I'm like, well, I'm visualizing this thing consciously that I've seen before. That's kind of there's a limited amount of things I can actively recall, but I can be reminded of billions of things. So if I look at something like this, like, oh, that reminds me of this thing I saw, this weird bug I saw one time, maybe that's what that is now. Like, it's a really good way to kind of like coax the deep ideas out. And I never really thought of it that way before. I always thought of thumbnailing as like, oh, it's just you're working small so you can work fast and focus on like the general read. But it kind of blew my mind to think about it as like you're pulling things out of your subconscious from the visual library of your entire life, essentially, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and when it's like blurry, and I mean, I'm not saying advocating for my process being right or anything. It's just when I personally work like this, I get to focus on, to be honest, I've seen Cynics' videos. I know his fundamental basis of what he teaches. I couldn't agree with it more, right?
Yeah.
You have a silhouette, and then you have breakpoints within the silhouette. Is that shape white or black in its value? And those are your separations of shapes. And like literally, so when I'm working on this stuff, I'm trying to just see breakpoints, negative and positive shapes, like a notan sketch. And I'm combining the two phases between silhouette and design break. And I think a lot of people, if they're starting, which I like to educate people, right? When they're starting as well, is maybe you might need to separate those two components. So have the silhouette be the start, then move into how can I now break the silhouette down. I think what's magical about people that are able to do the two things at once is it comes off as magic, right? I think a lot of people look at it and go, how did you make that design so quickly? But really, for me, I did start with silhouettes, and then I think 2 years in, I started being able to break them as I was making them. And then now it's like I can just do the two things sort of consecutively. So yeah, I couldn't agree more with what you're describing, and also what Cynics is advocating for. It's not complicated. It's have a good silhouette and have good shapes, and you've got a good design. Really that simple.
Well, and the speed and skill in which you put this sheet together definitely speaks to that. Like, how long did it take you to do all 8?
So it's about 5 minutes per one. So
wow, that's quick.
Yeah, pretty quick. Yeah. I've done like live demo recordings, and even then people are like, okay, you might need to like slow it up a bit, sort of thing. But I work actually quite small, so in front of my face, my screen, it would actually genuinely be like the size of a phone. That's actually how I'm viewing the image. I don't.
The whole screen is the size of a phone? Like,
yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, the whole canvas, like the Photoshop canvas, would be the size of a phone. And that just further emphasizes the blurry mindset and why you should be like gesturing at the beginning, and because you're kind of poking like, hey, give me a good design, make my shapes consistent, make a focal point, create negative, positive. Like, for me, it's just an efficient way of doing that. It lets my eyes and brain connect with it a lot better. So the way that it's recorded, though, is obviously full screen. So it's a bit deceiving, actually, behind the process that I go for.
Yeah, that's super cool to know. I might just try that next time, just like super shrinking it down, because I do like to work pretty small. And if I'm actually thumbnailing, not like exploration sketching, but I'm more like almost doodling, but like actually thumbnailing on traditional, I am trying to keep it like literally a thumbnail size for most of the designs. But I think because I have this huge screen and you can zoom in, it just like as soon as you touch it digitally, it all falls apart.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like sort of one of the first things I try to help people with, like, because I've had like juniors working for me and stuff, and I'm like, hey, dude, just zoom out a bit, like, give yourself that breathing room to have fun with it, right? And like they've immediately shifted gears. They're twice as fast. The designs are better. They're having fun again, right? There's so many advocations for it that I can. Yeah, like,
no, that's a great tip. I'm gonna definitely promote that, and maybe we can show like I don't know, maybe I'll do some studies or something just for fun and show like a little video in this recording at some point.
Yeah, awesome.
Cool. Yeah, the only other question I kind of had for you, so like, your, again, like your skill is super apparent, especially like the speed and everything. Um, how long have you been working in the industry, and what has been your kind of like trajectory?
So I guess like to answer the question properly, I was building games when I was like 6 years old.
Nice. Yeah.
I ended up focusing on sort of the art side because, like, we didn't have computers back then. I'm 30 right now. I'm 30 years old. So back then it was like those big white things, right? I just had like pieces of paper, and like grandma would like tell me to be quiet, and I'd get a pencil. So I was sort of designing games at that age and trying to figure out with my brother. Actually, he's in the industry as well. We both are. We were trying to always figure out like how to make a cool game. I guess that's where it started. Literally, I've been drawing most of my life. What really started my career was when I was 20, so 10 years ago, was when I had like my first paid work, and that was actually to work on demo pitching, which is a part of the industry. It's quite an interesting part too, where you sort of create a demo. For what I was doing, I was getting paid for it, and we would go then pitch that to like publishers and investors. Super common thing to do.
Yep.
And it is a role that you can actually like get hired for as well. So yeah, we were pitching demos, and that was successful. I did that for a couple of years off and on. And then it sort of just started picking up into more indie projects. And I kind of explored like some bigger projects. I didn't really like them, to be honest. I wasn't really a fan of that world. I was more interested in my passions as a child, which was making indie games. We used to use like 3D Game Maker, right? And I wanted, as an adult, I wanted to be a child. I think that's why we draw. So for me, I wanted to experience what I found so exciting about it when I was younger, and that sort of led me down that indie path. So at the moment, I've been working for the last 5 years for Tyrian Games, and we've been developing indie projects. So that's actually been really fun and really exciting. And it's the first sort of job where I've actually been an AD. So really, it has been very beneficial. It's probably one of the hardest jobs you'd get, to sort of have, the responsibility to create an IP and you lead the whole thing, right? Mm-hmm. In terms of how it's going to look and why it's going to look that way. And there's so much in it. So yeah, that's sort of my whole experience really, from what got me in, why I like it even today, and why I want to sort of continue doing it as well. Did I answer that question? Was that?
Yeah, no, yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Did
okay.
you? So I'm assuming it's a small team too that you're working with. And if this is me making a lot of assumptions, but I'm assuming like at an indie type company, like art director wears a lot more hats than at like a AAA huge studio. So yeah, how has the transition been? Like, do you still get to draw a lot? Or is it more leadership stuff, or is it a combination of everything?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually, because I think there is a lot of misconceptions around this. Everyone wants, I guess people that are watching this content are going to be concept artists and illustrators, right? At the end of the day, I think the role that you have as an artist is actually quite broad. Even in big companies. So having a little bit of a generalist spectrum is quite beneficial. Anything below AAA, it immediately helps you getting hired. So to answer your question, more specifically, yes, I'm very generalist. The reason being is because I was making games my whole life. So I'd be like, well, I want my design to like run and attack and roll. Like, how do I do that? So my curiosity sort of stimulated all of this.
Yeah.
So we actually did have a team size of 55. We've now reduced that quite dramatically, just to keep it more tight creatively, which we found that's actually a better dynamic.
The whole company, or like just the art team?
That was actually the whole company at one point. Was
Okay,
55.
that felt
yeah.
really big for the art team. Like I just
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was still under the indie cusp. I think the
Yep.
indie cusp was sort of like 35, 40. In my
Yep.
opinion, then it starts to get into like AA. But we've reduced that, and we've found that we move a bit slower, but the creative process is a little bit more curated,
Yeah.
which is quite interesting. But to fully answer your question, I do pretty much anything you could imagine that you see on the screen, I can do. Outside of shaders, I don't really like working on shaders. I can code a bit. I would call myself like low to intermediate at coding. But in terms of a 3D pipeline, like texturing, modeling, rigging, animating, weight painting, anything that encompasses a model, I am very well versed in that.
That's awesome. That's probably rare, I would think, too, actually. For most people that are like this deep in the industry, it's like you have to spend so many hours to get good at all of those things. Even to like a working level is a lot of investment, but
Yeah, I would kind of, even when I was just a concept artist, I would come home from that and just be like, I want to continue my game that I'm making.
yeah.
Where am I at? Okay, I need more enemies in the game. Like, that was literally what happened. It did pay off in the AD role, because when you have an animator come to you and they're like, hey, why isn't this animation looking good? Right? I was able to say, well, you might need to reduce those keyframes in that section so you get a bit of a snap happening. And I'm able to actually help the team at a technical level as well. And normally you would have like principal artists and all these other roles and, to sort of fill these holes. But for a smaller team, it's quite valuable to have someone with a bit more of a broad generalist attitude. So yeah, no, that's pretty much where I'm at and what I do daily. I do think that all of that stuff does play back into the art, like quite heavily. I don't think that they're disconnected. I actually think they're quite connected. Even when I'm rigging, I'm like observing, like, oh, that's interesting how the bone, like the way it sits and the way it is like depth like that in the hips of like a creature. And all of that stuff does pay back into my art. So yeah, hopefully that answers that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know if it'll make sense to everybody, but I was a mechanical engineer for like 10 years. So
Right.
knowing the function of things can really help really ingrain your understanding, and like it shows in the art, even if it's not surface level. Like everyone might not consciously be like, oh, this guy knows how the bone works, but subconsciously you see the differences, that's cool. Do you have a favorite aspect of all that stuff that you do? It's one thing, I think people trying to get into the industry too, probably myself included, it's really easy to think you want to do one thing and just focus on that one thing, and then you get in the industry and it's not what you thought. But that's why I think like trying a lot of stuff or trying to do something like build your own game, you'll start to learn like, oh, I like rigging and I hate shading, and I like this stuff and I hate this stuff. And then you might kind of get pulled in a direction. So I'm kind of curious, like, it sounds like you've done a lot of it. If there is certain things that stand out to you still, or...
Yeah, I guess to like answer that more holistically first, like, yes, definitely go, if you're interested in the industry and you think you want to be a concept artist, the truth is you should go explore the industry in its entirety first, because there's so many cases, even friends that I have that have converted from, AAA concept artists to AAA developers and AAA developers into illustrators. So I think, it is healthy to sort of have that generalist mindset and like let the pressure come off a bit when you're young and just have fun with it, right? Because at the end of the day, we're building games. Like, it's probably the coolest and most fun creative expression in any job you could ever have. So you should have fun with it. So that's my holistic answer.
Yeah.
But to sort of answer the what do I enjoy the most? It's interesting. After everything, I actually have found developing an IP with a team where all of the team members can feel a part of that world and feel passion for it. Just seeing that happen in a team is like, I don't even know how to describe that. it's a sense of camaraderie. It's a sense of passion. You really do feel like a tight knit little unit, you know, trying to work on something together as a group. I would say that's the most enjoyable part. And I would say if people can go off and experience that for themselves and feel that at a creative level, then it's worth every late night sitting on the computer, you know, hammering the same fundamental sketch every day. It's actually worth it, that I think. But you can get that in all fields. You know, you can get that within the development side. You can get that within the 3D side. You know, these departments, they do work like that. But that would probably be my most favorite part, is sort of creating an IP, getting everyone on board, and just seeing it start to flourish and come to life. So it's maybe more of a managerial answer to that. And obviously my deep passion is art, right? So the secondary of that is that I get to use my art to help lead these projects.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that whole ideology. It's something I miss from engineering, and I think because I work freelance and mostly am like working on my own these days, and I really miss like the camaraderie and the team problem solving and that kind of a thing. But what's great about the creative industry, like you said, in any avenue of it, whether you're 3D modeling, animating, doing concept art, is if you're with a team of people that are all really excited about the story that you're telling, like it's intoxicating. It's like, it's hard to not get super excited and have fun and bounce ideas off of each other. So yeah, I think that's something that's maybe even another advocate for people checking out working at indie games versus trying to get the AAA games, because if you are in AAA, you can be more compartmentalized and like kind of isolated. You're still probably working with a team of people that are excited about what they're doing, but it can be a lot different. Every company's different. There's exceptions probably in indie and AAA and everything else, but that's cool that you have that. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, the AAA thing, you know, some people love it, some people hate it.
I think it's very studio dependent too. I mean, like it's always the people you're working with, you know. Even certain big studios that have gotten flack for having poor work quality may have changed in the last 5 years because they've hired new people. It's like you just kind of never know. I've moved around within the same company and had different bosses and different colleagues, and it's totally changed the experience. So it's kind of hard to make blanket statements, I think. But
yeah, it's very much probably a personal, you know, right time, right moment, right team sort of situation, and even right economy, right? That is a huge part that I think we're experiencing right now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, not to go down that path of conversation too deeply, but yeah, that is a part of it. You may have had a poor or really great experience recently, but that doesn't actually paint the picture of what we're doing, right? I think that's where the always coming back to the purpose will be good for you as a person. Because to be honest, if I didn't have my job, I would still be building games.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I get paid, I'm building games. So
but that's how you know you have the right job. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just something I've always done. I'm very passionate about it. It's hard to not build games when my brother's a developer, right? So yeah, very, very challenging to not get involved. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the insight. That was a really, really great answer, really great experience to share. And thanks so much for being on the channel.
Awesome. Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Thanks again to Billy for being on the channel and doing some incredible artwork. Don't forget, there will be a link in the description below for my Discord channel. By joining the Discord, you can be more involved in the community. You can even submit artwork based on the prompts that I do for these videos ahead of time and get showcased at the end of the video. The first time that'll happen will be with Hardy Fowler near the end of January. Super excited about that and having him back on the channel as well. Other than that, thanks again, guys. Can't wait to have a great 2026 and upload more content.